coaching doing action, meaning if you do A, B, C, and D, E is going to happen. The type of coaching I do is I get very deep into your thoughts, because thoughts create emotions, which create actions. So when you really get into the core of who you are and your belief systems and your values and really identify what you're thinking, the confusion goes away. The confusion is entangled thought conditioning patterns that have been given to you from outside of you. So this coaching goes in and removes the confusion. So you see clearly. You see absolutely clearly. You know what you're going to create. And this is a world of your choosing. And it's really based on energy, catabolic energy and anabolic energy. And when you really start living your life from positive energy, and I'm not talking about positive thinking, I'm talking about positive being, you have clarity. There's no confusion. How does that sound?
That's very true. And that's it. But me, I like letting the world spin and see how I can spin it faster.
Well, absolutely. I hear what you're saying. When you're going through the change, when you're going through, there is a spin. It's almost like, yeah, there's a spin, but that is it's you who you are readjusting your perception of the world. So I absolutely know what you're speaking about with that confusion. But when it stops, you have clarity, true?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got a little different perspective than that, because I love going through life and just living the moment, because I know where I'm at and I know where I'm going. Mm-hmm. And whatever happens, I know it is. But see, the thing is people want to know before they experience it. And experiencing the journey is where people really get the enlightenment. Do you feel that, Kerri?
Yes, I feel that it's in the experience and the knowing, and that's what intuition is. And it's really not about, when I'm saying create your life, it's not about not enjoying the journey. It is the journey. It's rising above the conditioning patterns. And exactly what you're saying, living in the now. Conditioning patterns are the left brain, which keeps you pulled in the past. If we're not pulled in the past, we may be projecting into the future. And I think that's what you're talking about, where people are projecting into the future, which is a state of the egoic mind. Because what happens with the ego projects into the future because it wants to guarantee that its own survival, and that causes an anxiety gap. And that's why people want to know the future. But exactly what we're both talking about is living in the now and creating in the now. It's not about pushing out into the future for the ego existence. It's about creating who you are in the now. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
And you know, the dream you want to live, you live it now.
Absolutely. There's nothing else.
Well, and you know, the thing is, now, this is something that I see in my life, and maybe you can, when you start living in the now and you start living the dream, there's like a little world that you see. You know, the world's out here, the everyday life is out here. But you see your dreams and you see what you want. It's just kind of like its own little motion picture you see just with, in your mind's eye. Mm-hmm. And that's what I have going on in my life. And once I learned, I collapsed to have everything and step back and enjoy the journey of the expansion, because you'll never get to where you want to go, but it's always fun to look and see how you can expand that day. So how do you feel people really get caught up in wanting to go faster than they're capable of?
Well, how I see that is we have a choice when we wake up in the morning. We don't realize we have a choice, but we do. And the choice is how we're going to fuel ourselves. And most people wake up and they fuel themselves with catabolic energy. And what catabolic energy is, cortisol, adrenaline, competition. And they're getting up every day. And what catabolic energy is for humanity is when the years of the dinosaurs, we were created that if a dinosaur came, we got this shot of adrenaline so we could run. Makes perfect sense. But in our world today, we don't have dinosaurs. But we're still producing the same catabolic energy. So if we're at work and an unhappy client calls, we're producing as much energy, catabolic energy, as if we had to run away from the dinosaur. So we're producing this stress over and over and over, and we're telling ourselves over, oh, why is this client calling? I hate my job. I hate this. I hate this. And we're conditioning ourselves every day to feel this way, and we're producing the chemicals in our body that's nourishing our cells. Now, when we let go of that and we start shifting, we start letting go of our old conditioning patterns, and we start bringing a new awareness into our life, and we start having new emotions, and we start having new thought forms. And I'm not a believer in positive thinking. I'm a believer in balance. You can release the negative and build skills, communication skills, spiritual skills, the law of being skills, coaching skills, leadership skills, in place of the old negative habits. And then we start creating what's called anabolic energy. And what anabolic energy does is it releases serotonin, the good stuff. So if we're getting up every day and we're being positive and we have a purpose and we're living in the now and we're free like you're talking about, Rob, with I'm gonna let it go. I'm not going to be attached to anything. I'm going to be detached. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to be free. Nobody's going to take me down. We're going to start producing anabolic energy every day. And that's going to start nourishing our cells. And we're going to live a whole different life. We can have the same job, the same family, the same neighbors, but we changed our own chemical, emotional, thought makeup through coaching, because that's what a coach is going to have you do. Your coach is going to have you let go of those old limited, replace it with positive ways. Because unfortunately in our school system, in school, college, our work, we were not taught soft skills, interpersonal skills, how to communicate. We don't know how to communicate to ourselves. And when we learn how to communicate to ourselves, which is the most important person to communicate with, our whole life changes. We change our whole entire body. And then we can go out into our world healthy, happy, high on energy.
You know, if you just take that last statement you said, if you took nothing else out of life, that last statement you just said, Kerri, will take you wherever you want to go. It really will. It's about the letting go. Mm-hmm. It's about really overcoming your shyness to live your dream.
Right, because we live in a society where people hold you back. They want you to stay in a box. They want you to be conditioned. And that's what makes people shy, because they've been shut down for so long. And that's not truly who they are. Nobody's really shy. Everybody's brilliant. And when you break out of that box, you break out of those limited beliefs, and you stop creating catabolic energy for yourself, and you start believing in yourself, and you have someone that believes in you, a coach will always believe in you, you create unbelievable changes in your life. And you go out there and you're like, this is great. And you know what's so cool? You find people that are like you. You think when you're in that box, oh, if I'm positive and everybody around here is negative, they're going to think I'm some Pollyanna, and it's scary. But when you break out and you start meeting other people that are really creating their lives and living on purpose and living in passion, it's so fun. That's it. It's fun. Life is really fun.
It really is. And then you start wondering, other people, they just kind of naturally drift off.
They do, because they're in their own box. They're in their own world. And that's fine, because that's like the staging point. That's where they have to be, and that's okay.
And, the thing is if when they see you expand and they start seeing the things, their minds are going to start opening and saying, okay, what do they have that I want? And they will either open up and go do the same things, get the same coaching, or they'll go away. And how do you feel people emulate their friends? your friends will tell you